Now, if you've noticed that white ring around your iris, you're probably wondering what it means. You're wondering whether it's a harmless sign of aging or something more sinister that requires immediate attention. That's exactly what we're going to talk about in today's video. We'll be comparing two conditions that can cause this appearance, the Vogt white limbal girdle and also corneal Arcus. I'll give you a clear, actionable way to understand the differences and what each of them means for your health. We'll also connect this to the best measures that you can take to protect your eyes from similar wear and tear over time. Hey, welcome back. If you're new here, I'm Optometrist Martin Aguzi, and if you get value from this video, then I'd love to have you as a subscriber to the channel. Also, liking and sharing this video would be amazing and will also be one of the #1 ways that you can help to support the channel. Now, let's start with a condition that is often a simple sign of aging, the Vogt white limbal girdle. Now, this is a type of ring around your iris that is typically benign, meaning that it's not harmful or spreading. Now, it typically looks like a chalky white or greyish patch, but here's the key identifier. They're located specifically at the 3 o'clock and the 9 o'clock positions of the cornea, right at the border of the white of your eye, which is called the limbus. Now, crucially, it doesn't form a complete ring. It's more like two small symmetrical patches or arcs at the 3 and 9 o'clock position. So the question is, what causes it? Now, the main cause is a buildup of exposure to UV light over your lifetime. You can think of it as a visible record of sun exposure, and much like sunspots on the skin. Now, the UV radiation leads to a process called elastotic degeneration in the corneal stroma, which is the middle layer of the cornea. The tissue changes and these non-transparent deposits form over time. Since UV exposure is the main cause, the most important resilience strategy is to consistently protect yourself from UV over time. And this means wearing good quality sunglasses that block 100% of the UVA and the UVB spectrum, or wearing clear lenses that have 100% UV blocking treatment. Leading studies also recommend wearing wide brim hats as an effective way of protecting yourself from overhead UV rays when you're outdoors for an extended period of time. Now, the crucial takeaway is that the Vogt white limbal girdle itself is not a sign of any systemic health problems or high cholesterol issues or cardiovascular disease. It's a localized superficial change to the surface of the eye. You can't reverse the deposits that are already there, but you can absolutely prevent them from progressing further. And this knowledge should reassure you. If anything, it's a sign of a life lived actively and not a sign of danger. Now, this brings us onto the other white ring around the iris that requires a different kind of attention, the corneal Arcus, also known as Arcus senilis. And this condition appears as a full or partial white or grey ring around the entire periphery of your iris. Its appearance is quite distinct. The ring itself is often hazy, and there's a classical diagnostic feature called the lucid interval. And this is a clear zone between the outer edge of the ring and the actual white limbal border. And this is a very subtle but important detail. Now, the makeup of this ring is critical. Unlike some related changes in the Vogt girdle, corneal Arcus is caused by fatty deposits, specifically cholesterol and related fats that build up around the periphery of the cornea. Now, the body is depositing fatty molecules into the corneal tissue. Now, the single most important factor in determining the significance of a corneal Arcus is the age of the onset. When it appears in an older individual, typically in the age of about 60 or so, and this is called then a Arcus Senilis to denote the fact that it happens later in life. Arcus Senilis is often considered a common, relatively benign age-related change. However, if the full white ring appears in anyone that is under the age of 40, it's then termed Arcus Juvenilis because of the younger age of appearance. Now, Arcus Juvenilis is a significant red flag. It's potentially an external marker for abnormal fat levels in the body's bloodstream. Effectively, the eye is showing you a sign of what might be happening within the blood vessels. Now, advice here is always a strong recommendation that if you see a full ring, especially in somebody under the age of 40, you must see your family doctor for an appropriate blood test. And this will check your cholesterol levels, and it's definitely not something to ignore or dismiss. Identifying the issue early allows for management through diet, exercise, and possibly medication as well, which has profound implications for your long-term cardiovascular health. So while the ring itself in the eye isn't dangerous and doesn't affect vision, it can be a crucial warning sign of the systemic condition of your blood vessels. So how do you confidently tell these two apart when you notice a white ring around your iris? Now, you can perform two simple observations. First of all is the location test. And remember that the Vogt white limbal girdle appears as two separate arcs at the 3 and the 9 o'clock positions. On the other hand, corneal Arcus forms a full or partial ring that goes all the way around the iris. And secondly is the gap test. Look very carefully at the very outer edge of the ring. If you see a clear unobstructed zone between the ring and the white of the eye that we call the limbus, that's the lucid interval, which is highly characteristic of corneal Arcus. Vogt's girdle typically sits right at the border without this gap. Now, while correct identification reduces anxiety, I would always suggest that if you have any doubt at all, or you have a history of high cholesterol, then you should consult your doctor or your optometrist for a further examination. Now, if your self-check points to the Vogt white limbal girdle, you can protect your eyes further from progression and premature eye aging by prioritizing high-quality UV protection. Now, remember to subscribe for more evidence-based strategies to protect your vision. Check out the links in the description box below of this video for my top resources for keeping your eyes precious. And I'll see you guys in the next video.